And action.
Yeah.
What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Badminton Experience, episode number 58. It says here on my phone.
Correct.
We are closing in on 60. What a crazy accomplishment, Hans Christian. I'm happy that we have made it this far.
In you this year, keeping TBE afloat.
Yes, we do our best. We do.
But yeah, once again, we have to, because we already agreed at the start of the year that every time you win a tournament, we need to be back in the studio recording. So here we are. You're the European champion for the second time in your career. But
yeah,
in some ways, it might even feel like it's the first time, because it's the first time you actually played a European Championship final where you won, right? Because you didn't actually play the final last time.
Yeah, that's correct. If I should explain a bit further, I was also in the European Championship final back in was it 2021?
Yes.
And back then I was going to face Viktor Axelsen in the final, but just the evening before, I got the news that he had tested positive for COVID-19, and therefore the final was cancelled, and I won the tournament without having to play the final.
You had to beat me in the semifinal though, so it was still like well deserved.
Yeah,
but...
definitely. No, but this definitely feels better. It's a better feeling to actually having to play the final and get that feeling of the last few points and the excitement of finally getting the job done. But no, you're right. My second European Championship title, but yeah, I don't know. I count 3 actually because I also won the European Games. And I know that it's not the European Championships, but I don't really care. In my mind, it's the same. So I count 3.
I think that's fair enough because it is a European gold. Like maybe the first edition of the European Games wasn't the strongest, but I think now it's something that the countries are actually prioritizing. So it's a little bit weaker than the normal European Championships because less players can go, but it's still all the 1 or 2 best players from the top countries are going. So I think it's fair enough to say it's your 3rd European gold. I think Marin, she also counts it that way because I noticed that she said she has now won 8 European golds and she has only won 7 European Championships. So I guess she's also counting the European Games. And if she can do it, you can do it.
Maybe she just lost count of it because she has won it like 8 years in a row or something.
It's crazy. I was just looking at her statistics when she won because I also had lost count. It's pretty impressive that she's played in major finals. She's now played 7 European Championship finals, 1 European Games, 4 World Championships, and 1 Olympic Games final. And she's won all of them except 1. So it's 15 big finals, and she's won 14 out of them.
Which one did she lose?
She lost in Copenhagen World Championships this year to Antonsen.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
But apart from that, she's won every single major final she's been in. That's pretty crazy.
That's crazy. Yeah. I mean, we've talked about it plenty of times. She's definitely a big game player. It's insane how she rises to the occasion every single time.
Yeah, it's going to be tough overlooking her for the gold in Paris.
I saw she's now ranked in the top 3 or top 4 in the world in women's singles, I believe. I saw Tai Su Ying is now ranked number 5 today. So correct. So yeah, she is up there. It's going to be very interesting to see if she can pull something off at the Olympics for sure.
I'm not gonna count her out.
I actually saw I think I saw her I saw the end of her quarterfinal match here at the European Championships, and she there was something wrong with her. I don't know if she had like a minor injury with the knee or something like that, but she didn't look happy. And I saw her afterwards; she was like limping, and she had ice on the knee, and I was like, she's definitely going to pull out for the semifinal. And then she just went into the semifinal and final, and it seemed like nothing was wrong, and she just destroyed her opponents.
I think she's most likely. I don't know her well enough to say that, but I believe she's pretty tough when it comes to playing with pain and stuff like that.
What do you think about? I mean, it's something that has been discussed a lot. I guess maybe in Danish television, but the way Karolina behaves on court is a little bit different. I mean, she is extremely loud with her screams, and I would call it screams. It sounds like she's screaming when she shouts.
Yeah, she does. She does.
And it definitely splits the water a little bit. What do you feel about it? Is it too much, or is it just that's just the game?
I think in many cases it's a bit too much. So like I don't think I can say too much because I can also shout really loudly when I play. But yeah, for sure it's part of her game also in terms of like getting in the head of her opponent. But I think that this actually like the screaming for me is not much of an issue. It's more like sometimes she doesn't like really give the shuttle in a nice way to opponent. Like she will only just put it on the other side of the net and stuff like that. I don't like all those kind of small things. So I'm not a huge fan of that. But I think with her, I'm also willing to see through a little bit more of it because I think it's so impressive what she's doing with the resources that she's had over the years, like coming from Spain, building up from basically nowhere, and just becoming the by far best European female player ever, I would say. So I think I may be giving her a little bit of slack because of that. Yeah, sorry.
She's just so like mentally tough. I feel like, and
yeah,
because I'm sure that it's something that she has been accused of many times during her career, like not behaving in the right manner when it comes to the shouting and stuff. But she's just still doing it, and she's just, I mean, stone cold. I mean, she's. I mean, there's definitely been times where she wondered, okay, should I stop behaving in a certain way? But she just keeps on going because it works for her, and you gotta respect that. I mean, even though people have their opinions on how she should do stuff, she just sticks to whatever works for her, and that's quite impressive.
Yeah, and I think she's a very good example of like how a player can change personality when you're on court compared to off court. So whenever you talk to her off court, she's so like nice and sympathetic, and you wouldn't get that impression from watching her on court. She's a lot involved with Solibad, donating 1% of her prize money every year for Solibad, and she's doing all these like she would never say no to an autograph or a picture and stuff like that. And I actually think one thing that's quite interesting is that she still has a lot of respect for her opponent, and I think where you really see it is, I think we spoke about it once after the World Championship final in Copenhagen, that she will always go and say thanks for the match to her opponent first before she goes hug the coach. I think the only time in the big final where she didn't do it was when Fernando Rivas actually ran on court to hug her. But she always like wants to respect her opponent that way, which was why she was actually telling Ante Young off after that final in Copenhagen. So I think it says a little bit about that. It's not something about her not respecting her opponent. It's simply just like a game face that she puts on, that she wants to get in their head. And yeah, I agree with you. Like you can think of it what you want, but you gotta respect what she brings on court in terms of winning attitude for sure.
Do you think the shouting part is about getting into her opponent's head, or is it about getting herself into the right, like to hype herself up?
I would imagine it's a bit of both.
Okay.
So I can just say that for myself, that like shouting and like fist pumping after winning points is definitely to get myself psyched up and hyped. But in some matches, I would also use it as a mental weapon and shout a little bit more. Like one good example was at Denmark Open, where I was not feeling well or anything, and I knew I had to play Lakshya, and I knew that I had to bring something extra, and I need to like get in his head somewhere, and I was shouting like crazy, which was more than usual, and it was just a tool to try and get him a little bit annoyed. Is it very sporting? Maybe not, but it's just another tool in the toolbox, and it's. Like, of course, there's a limit somewhere, and it's also up to the umpire, but there's also a personal limit. But yeah, I don't think she's crossing it in terms of respect for the opponent. Not in my opinion, at least.
No.
But it doesn't mean that I like it a lot.
No, I mean, I to be honest, I never really shout with the purpose of getting into my opponent's head. When
No.
I shout, it's totally for myself, I feel like.
Hmm. Yeah, but
And
you're
that's,
such a nice guy, honest.
I
I don't know
mean,
why your reputation is so bad sometimes.
every time I look, I mean, if I read comments or something, there's
Hmm.
always something with unsportsmanlike
Yeah,
behavior,
yeah,
and I'm not always 100% certain what it's about. And I'm reading it, I'm like, what did I do this time that was wrong? I actually,
Like, can we just talk about that situation with you and Toma in the final,
yeah, yeah, we
where
can, we can.
he's staring you down? So like, can you try to explain the situation, like what happened? I didn't see it, but then I could just hear. I was watching the match, and then I was just in the kitchen getting something to drink, and I could just hear from the commentators that something was going on, so I had to watch it afterwards.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah,
anyway, you explain.
let me give you and the audience some context if they didn't see the match. So my final match against Toma Jr. Popov here at the European Championships, I think I was leading 5-2 in the second game, and he did like a net kill, and I got it back behind the back. But
Mm,
the shuttle, if we're being honest, the shuttle touched my shoe a little bit. So it was definitely a fault. Um, and obviously Toma got really mad. The umpire didn't notice it, and he apparently got mad at me for not giving him the point. And again, I mean, people will have different opinions. Some would say you should definitely give it to the opponent. Some would say that's just a part of the game. And yeah, for me personally, I'm thinking, will let's say the score ends up being 20-20 in the third game, and the exact same thing happened, just the other way around. Would he give the point to me? I highly doubt it. So I mean that's why I wouldn't do something like that. There is a lot on the line in these matches, uh, and I know that it can go both ways, and it goes both ways all the time. And yeah, line calls, net kills, whatever. There's, I mean, so many things happening all the time. Uh, Anyways, yeah, he got upset, obviously, which makes 100% sense. Then afterwards, we played a good rally. I dived to my knees, and I kind of like hurt my knees really bad. The floor The floor that we played on down in Saarbrücken in Germany was very, very hard. It was not really an enjoyable experience to play there, to be honest, because of the very hard floor. Everything around the tournament was good. The city was great, but just the floor was not good. No, so we played this rally. I hurt my knees. I was laying on the ground afterwards, and when I looked to the net, I turned around and looked to the net. He was like standing all the way up there and just really stared me down, like gave me a hard stare. And I was like, I was really in pain. So yeah, so I just reacted like first of all, like what's going on? What are you staring at, or something like that. And then I got up and I went to the net and I shouted something like, "What's up?" Or something. Yeah, so it was a combination of me being in pain, and then I got annoyed with him staring me down while I was laying there on the floor. So yeah, I got mad for a second. Yeah, we exchanged a few words. I couldn't really hear what he was saying, but I was like, "It's not my fault, Soma. I mean, it's the umpire's job. It's not my fault. I mean, what do you want me to do? Do you really want me to just give you the point, or whatever?" And yeah, I don't know. It got heated for a few minutes. Then we shook each other's hands, and we played on from there. And the intensity afterwards was a little bit higher, and yeah, it added some extra fire to the match, I would say.
yeah, yeah. You could hear from the from the replay that he said something about, but he cheated. So like he believed that you cheated on the point before, but it
Okay.
was fun to watch because like the stare down from him, that was really one of the better stare downs that I've seen for quite a while. Because as you say, like he's like this close to the net, it's
Yeah.
and just you're lying there. But you were also very quick. I've rarely seen you be so quick to get up from the floor as
I
you were
mean, I'm
in that
I'm I'm
situation.
I'm ready to go. I mean, if we get into to a brawl, I'm ready.
Do you think you
uh,
could take him in a fight like that?
he's a big guy. I
Yeah.
was. I mean, I'm definitely the underdog if we got into a fist fight or a wrestling match or something. That wouldn't be good for me. But I will definitely do my best. I will give it a shot, but I'll probably lose.
You know some tricks from watching all those Connor fights.
Yeah,
But yeah, well,
I've been an MMA fan for many years.
yeah.
Conor McGregor is back, by the way. He's going
Yeah.
to fight in a few months.
But isn't he saying that like all the time? Like,
He is back. It's official now. It's
okay,
official.
yeah.
The
Well,
UFC just made it official.
okay. So I'll believe it when I see him in the octagon.
Yeah, it'll be
Yeah,
good.
yeah. But it was nice to see with you and Toma anyway that like you were giving like a handshake after at the net and like
Yeah. I mean,
it was.
Toma is a good guy, and
Yeah.
we have spoken to him here on the podcast, and we also spoke afterwards, and
Mm,
we
yeah.
were on the same plane the day after to Denmark. We exchanged a few words, so yeah,
Yeah.
no bad blood there, no bad
No,
feelings from my side at all.
no, no.
It's the
That's good.
game.
That's good. Just the one thing I wanted to hear about the final. Yeah, I don't know how much detail we're going to go into it, but I thought it was quite interesting to hear in your interview after that you said that there was a lot of nerves. Like, given that you've already been European champion once, you won the European Games, you've already been in a World Championship final, you won Malaysia Open as Super 1000. Like it's just I think it's nice for people to hear that even like a big champion like you still get nervous in a match like this. Um, and I think you said something about like when a chance like this arises because it wasn't Victor in the final, then you really need to take it. Did it did it also play a role in your mind that you had a similar situation in 2017 where you had a final against Raj Usaf where you didn't win? I don't know if you were favored in the same way, but like did that also play a little bit of a role in your mind that you hadn't actually won a European Championship on court in the final that way?
No, I mean
No.
no, that didn't play a role. I didn't give any thought to the championship back in 2017. No, it was just yeah, as I said, I really wanted to win. I really wanted to bring home the gold for Denmark and claim those 9,000 ranking points.
Mm,
So yeah, I just really wanted to get it done, and obviously I would have expected Viktor in the final,
mm,
but he lost to Toma in the semifinal, which was quite surprising, and we can talk about that as well. Um, but yeah, then I mean, if I went into a match against Viktor, it would definitely be different because I would be the underdog,
mm,
and I could just focus on doing my absolute best, and I mean the
mm,
result is going to be whatever it's going to be,
mm,
and it's not really a big deal if I lose. But then it was like, okay, it's going to be Toma. That's interesting. It's a guy that I've faced 8 times in the past and won all 8 times.
mm,
I really don't want this time to be
mm.
the one where I'm going to lose to
Yeah.
Toma. Yeah, so I guess it was just because I felt I had a good chance of winning, and that added a bit of extra nerves to my game, to be honest.
Mm,
But it was at certain times in the match. I mean, for instance, in the beginning of the first game, I was fine. I
mm,
mean, no nerves at all. I played well. But in the end of the first game, it got a little bit tense. So yeah, luckily he felt it as well,
mm,
because yeah, he was definitely tense as well. I
mm,
mean, that's 19-17 in the first game he served into the net. That
mm.
could be a sign of some nerves as well.
Yeah.
So I guess it was both ways, but
Mm. Makes sense. Makes sense. But
you could also see it in my celebration that I was very relieved
yeah,
to get the win.
yeah. Were you more relieved than happy to win?
Mm, yeah, maybe.
Maybe,
I would
maybe.
say 50-50, a good
Yeah,
combination
yeah,
of those
yeah.
two.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's quite interesting for normal or like hobby players to hear, because it's a lot of the same emotions that they will also get when they play. Like if you play against someone that you know on paper he's supposed to be better, then you have less pressure. And then as soon as you play someone where you know that, okay, in your own mind you should win this one, or you usually have a good head-to-head record or something like that, then you just add this extra bit of pressure. And it's not about you or Victor or anyone else being like superhuman and not having these thoughts. It's all about that you're much better at handling them and knowing how to deal with it when you're on court.
Yeah, I was very happy with the way I dealt with it. Controlling my breath, try to stay focused, on the tactical aspects,
Mm.
and just not just playing on raw emotion
Mm.
and like, but playing with my head, using my
Yeah,
brain.
yeah,
I was happy with that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Amazing. And I
Did you
I don't think I've
did
even said congrats on this podcast. I should do that. It's very unpolite to not. So congrats on winning on this.
No, it's okay. It's all good. Thank you very much, Hans Christian. Did you watch the semifinal between Viktor and Toma?
I did indeed, and I really wanted to watch it because I knew what was at stake also for Toma, that he needed to win that one to qualify for Paris. And I thought it was quite interesting also to see where Viktor was, because obviously he hasn't had the greatest year so far. So it, like, I wouldn't say I thought Toma was gonna win it, for sure not, but I just thought it was a very interesting match to see like the dynamics of it. And I it didn't disappoint. I think it was actually really really fun to watch, and I was very impressed with Toma also in terms of his like mental resilience in the match, because he could have easily lost it after he lost the second game, but he never really gave up. So I'm very very impressed with his like the way he qualified for Paris. Like basically before Spain Masters and the European Championships, he knew that he needed to probably do at least two finals to qualify, and that's exactly what he did. I think that's pretty impressive.
I mean, we had Toma on the podcast, and I guess that was prior to the Olympic qualification period.
Mm.
And back then we talked about it was going to be very fun and interesting to follow the brothers Toma and Christo
Yeah, yeah.
In their race to qualify, and their dad is their coach, and it's a super weird, awkward situation. I assume. Yeah, Toma has been looking like he was the one qualifying throughout the whole period. He was doing better. Then Christo suddenly did very well, won the German Open semifinal at the All England.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, everything turned around. It looked like it was going to be Christo. And then at the very end, Toma, he ended up qualifying because he defeated the world number one in like the final match for him to either qualify or not qualify. That is insane.
It's insane. Then you really deserve your spot at the Olympics. I sent him a message, Toma, to say congrats after that semifinal. It was very impressive to see. And he also replied yesterday when I also said congrats on the silver, that he had this pride as an older brother that he couldn't let his younger brother overtake him, of course, in the ranking. So that's why he did it, of course, with a smile he said it. But
Yeah, that's good.
it's
Imagine the conversation when he see Christo again. Like, what? I mean,
yeah, I'm sure
it's
they probably also share a room when they're traveling together, because they also play the doubles together. But I'm every time I think about it, I'm also just like, how hard must it be for his dad or their dad? Like, he knows that when Toma won that one, okay, his dream is fulfilled, but he also knows that he's breaking his other son's dream, and he's sitting there
yeah,
helping Toma to achieve it and take it away from Christo. It
yeah.
must be like so many different contrasting emotions.
But Christo is still young. He will have another shot for sure
Yeah,
next time. It's going
but
to be interesting to
not
see
for a
who's
home
going.
Olympics.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Mm.
It's not going to be in Paris. But
Mm.
France has many upcoming players. I mean, Arnaud Merkel, who I faced in the quarterfinal,
Yeah.
Alex Lanier as well, Christo, and also Toma will definitely also be there in 4 years. So
Yeah.
it's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I was just going to ask about that with France, because did you consider that at all? Because you were the last final, right, at the European Championships, and isn't that true?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And if you lost that one, it would actually be France with 3 goals and Denmark with only 1. So I think that would have been maybe, I don't know if it's the first time in history, but for sure it's the first time in history for France. They had never won a European Championship gold medal before. But did that play any kind of role that you wanted to like also make sure that Denmark was still number 1?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I thought about it a little bit.
Okay.
Not very much. It wasn't
No.
something that I thought about during the match, but
No.
prior to the match, I thought a little bit about it, that it's not going to look good if France has 3 gold medals and Denmark only has 1.
No.
So yeah, I definitely thought about it just a little bit.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I was just curious.
But just going back to that semifinal, with Toma and Viktor, because I was on my way home. I needed to get treatment. I needed to get some food. So I was kind of like watching it, but not like very intensely. What did you feel like went on there?
Well, I think the main thing for Viktor in terms of the difference in his game is that he doesn't look to be very confident in his own game. So like one area where you can really see it is his defense. Well, like he's making a lot of mistakes in his defense where like the smash is basically in his racket in the defense, but it just doesn't really get over. He hits it into the net or something, where I believe before he was maybe even the best in the world in the defense. Like it was so hard to finish the points on him, and like Toma didn't have much issues doing that, and it wasn't because he was just hitting the lines all the time. It was basically just looked like Viktor, he was tensing up a little bit and just didn't play defense naturally in the same way. And obviously when he's not doing that, I feel like he's also tensing up a little bit with everything else, because he needs to, or he probably feels like he needs to score the points a little bit earlier, because he cannot rally in the same way, like just keep playing lifts and play some defense. So to me, he just looks very, to his standards, very insecure. Obviously, he's still playing at an extremely high level, but just compared to his level, he looks so insecure. It's also like all of a sudden he's lifting 2 or 3 out of the back, and yeah. So like all of these like small mistakes, they creep in, and it just affects his entire game. It looked the same in the quarterfinal. I also watched his quarterfinal against Gemke, where I think in the first game he looked very insecure, and Gemke didn't have any problem scoring points on him. But he stole it at the end. The first time he was leading in the first game, Viktor, was at 2019. He was down 3, 4, 5 points during most of the first game. And then after he won that first game, he settled down and got calm. And he almost did the same to Toma. He got back to, I think, 19 all in the first, and then lost it 21-19. So I think had he won that first game, it probably also would have been, it could have been different, because he would have settled down a bit more, I imagine.
Okay. I mean, yeah, okay. It makes sense. Confidence is a weird thing. It can come and go so quickly. We're going to talk about Jonatan Christie as well, and I guess he's kind of like in the same situation where suddenly he's just on fire and has an enormous amount of confidence, I would assume. And it's a really fragile thing, confidence.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, because it's obviously not like overnight that he's suddenly a much worse badminton player, Viktor. And you also only have to go back 4 months. He won the World Tour Finals and the Japan Masters. So the last 2 tournaments he played in 2023, he won. So yeah, it's for me, it's mostly a matter of that more than it's something playing wise. But it's I'm curious to see like how he's gonna solve it, or if he can solve it. Yeah, so of course, there's still some chances to play tournaments and win matches, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
I mean, I'm definitely certain that he will solve it. I think it's about minor things. As I mentioned, confidence can be very fragile. It can come and go super quickly. But I think if he gets it back, he is. I mean,
for sure.
You asked me last time who is the best in the world right now, and let's talk about that once again, maybe a little later in the episode. But I will probably still, I will still say if we had to play the World Championship tomorrow, I would have him as the favorite. And Thomas Cup is coming up, so I'm crossing my finger that Viktor will be strong and well prepared as usual. I'm sure he will.
Yeah, he's usually unbeatable in the Thomas Cup. He's been like that for the past 3 editions or something like that, where he hasn't lost any matches. It's been pretty remarkable.
I still really believe in him, to be honest.
Yeah, for sure.
I have no doubt that he will rise to the occasion.
Yeah.
Anyways, that was probably everything for the European Championships, right?
Yes.
Let's talk about the Asian Championships, the ABC, which was played in some city in China, Ningbo or something.
Ningbo,
Ningbo. And the big takeaway for us too, because we are, 2 men's singles players, one current and one former. Obviously, we pay the most attention to the men's singles. Let's just be honest, Hans Christian.
We will get some complaints, but it's fine. We will take it because it's just how it is.
We don't care. It's our program. We can do whatever we want.
True.
Jonatan Christie once again, won the Asia Championships back to back, because the last event he played was the All England that he also won. So it is 2 absolutely major titles that he has claimed back to back. What is going on, Hans Christian?
It's crazy. Like it's really crazy. Also because when you just like look at the tournament, like of course it's so strong, but like he was killing everyone. Unfortunately, like I haven't seen a lot of the I haven't seen any of the matches, so I don't really know like what happened, but I just saw like he beat Li Xijia 11-6, and Li Xijia looked like on his results in the first few rounds that he was maybe at a good place, and like winning easily also against Li Shifeng in the final, and I don't really know how to explain it, because I think I'm as shocked as everyone else, because I didn't really have Jonatan as one of the guys that you would see as a true like gold medal contender for Paris. But now there's no way you can get around his name. Like he's gonna be one of the top contenders for the gold. And I think we talked about last time as well that it was like, for me it came a little bit out of nowhere. But I had also forgotten about his win in was it Hong Kong last year?
And France.
Yeah. So I think, I was just more thinking about his bad start to 2024. But I guess it's just confidence. I don't know. Did you watch any of have you watched any highlights or anything?
Yeah, I watched a little bit, not much. Obviously, a little bit difficult with the time difference and also my own schedule during the week. I watched a little bit. I didn't watch enough to like say exactly what was going on and what worked well for his game. But in general, he is, when he's at his best, just a super solid and steady player, like not making many mistakes. I think he's quite calculated. He has a strong defense. He's quick. He's smart. I feel like he's smarter than most players. Tactically, quite aware. I think you can see it in his eyes just from the very start of the rallies when he's serving. Like it's like he's really watching how is the opponent standing. I mean, you can sense that he is not just starting the rally. He's having an idea with whatever he wants to do with the serves, and already from the very beginning he has a plan. Those big legs that he has is super strong in the defense. He
does have the most massive quads in the game, I think.
Him and Xiuqi has massive quads. It's insane.
Speaking of that, Xiuqi, it was like when he won the All England Christie, he beat Xiuqi where he pulled out with the fever. So I think like maybe there were some question marks if he would actually be able to do that, but he proved that last week at the Asian Championships because he beat him in the semi-final. Very close and long match. He lost the first and won 19 in the second, but he proved that he can also beat like the top guy from Asia. So
Yeah.
like there can be no excuses for him this time. Like he beat all the top guys now in the past couple of tournaments. That's very impressive.
Very strong accomplishment for sure. I mean, he defeated both Li Shifeng and Xiu Qi. And Li Shifeng is also a guy to mention. Like he has not been performing at his very best for a while, but he reached the final, defeated Kodai in the semifinals. So maybe he's regaining some confidence as well.
I think he proved once again what we had talked about before. So we have this view of him also as like a big game player. So like at the championships, he's looking stronger. I think we've had a few championships now where he's been a little bit disappointing. So maybe he was losing a little bit of that aura, but he kind of gets it back when he is then out of the blue. Basically, makes a good tournament like this one.
I don't know what to say. It's crazy because it's crazy how quickly things can like turn around. I started the year as I think I was ranked top 10. And then just during January, 2 tournaments, suddenly I was number 3 in the world. And Jonatan, he also actually dropped from the very top to outside of the top 8 for a little while. And then back-to-back wins, and now he's number 3 in the world. I mean, it's just crazy how quickly things can turn around. And last time we discussed a little bit who is the best men's single in the world right now, and I think the discussion was is Xiu Qi actually currently better than Viktor? But now all of a sudden you'll have to talk about Jonatan as well. He is ranked number 3 in the world. And he just defeated Xiu Qi on his home soil. So I don't know.
No, true.
Viktor is still ranked number 1 in the world, but he's definitely not been the best in 2024 so far.
No, for sure not. So the reason why I was just losing a little bit of my focus there was because I was trying to look at the race to Paris list. I was trying to multitask. And we spoke about this before the show started, that it hasn't been updated yet. The world rankings has. Now they just updated the Race to Paris list, but they completely messed it up. So right now, the Race to Paris, everyone only has 1 result counting.
Nice.
So I'm not really sure what's going on.
You might need to go in and let's say you just missed out of qualifying. You might need to go and do the calculation yourself just to make sure that they didn't mess up something.
I actually saw that on Twitter that some people were talking about they messed up some of the team points, so there was still a chance that Christie would qualify ahead of Toma, but I have no idea if it's true or not. But as we also noticed, like the men's doubles ranking was looking a bit weird with the Toma and Christie just overtaking this other French pair, Corvier and Labarre, on the world rankings. But all the calculations that everyone has made shows that it should be the other way around, that Corvier and Labarre has qualified. So we'll just have to wait and see for the official list before we go into that. But sorry, that was something completely different. I'm just trying to multitask here.
Hopefully they won't mess it up. That would be insane.
Yeah. That would be pretty insane. Imagine going to the list and seeing that, I'm qualified, and then like figuring it out a few days later, no, it was just a calculation.
Unfortunately, there was a mistake.
Yeah, but I think that's some of the interesting things also to talk about from the Asian Championships. Some of the players that actually made sure of qualifying because of that week, and also a few players who missed out because of the results that week.
Go ahead. Who did qualify?
Qualify was Lin Chunyi from Taiwan in the men's single. So he needed to make top 16 to become the second. So like to qualify too, you have to be top 16 in singles, and he will end up as number 17. He needed to win 1 more match to qualify. So quite tough for him. Um,
Crazy.
yeah, two guys that did actually secure that spot was Liu and O in the men's doubles from China. So they needed to stay in top 8 to be the second pair after Wang and Liang from China as well. And they got that 8 spot, and then that means that Bakas Maulana and Fikri from Indonesia will not go, which also means Indonesia will only have one men's doubles in the Olympic tournament. I'm not sure that has ever happened before. So
That's crazy.
that's quite a big thing. But for me, the most interesting result this week was in the women's singles. Because before this tournament, we had obviously Chen Yufei. She will go for China. She's ranked as 2 now, I think. But then you have 3 girls: Hibing Jiao, you have Wang Xiyi, and you have Han Yu. They are all ranked 6, 7, and 8. So it's Hibing Jiao, Han Yu, and Wang Xiyi in that order. They're all within 1,100 points now. Because Wang Xiyi, who's number 8, she actually won the Asian Championships. She beat Hibing Jiao. She beat Chen Yufei. So maybe the Chinese Federation will pick her. But then again, if you look at Hibing Jiao, she beat An Se-young, who's going to be the big gold favorite. So maybe you want her to go. Or maybe you will pick Han Yu because she beat Yamaguchi, who's another one of the big favorites for the medal. So like it's a very interesting choice they left with China with the result that happened in China last week. So I think that's going to be very interesting to follow, because I don't know if everyone watching this know this, but it's not necessarily whoever is higher ranked. It's up to the federations to choose. So if you have more than 2 players, top 16, you can choose any of those 2 to go.
Yeah, and I guess the federations has different policies, right?
Yeah.
So some federation would just say whoever is ranked higher, we will choose.
Yeah.
But some federation uses the power that they have to decide which one they want. I mean, there could be different reasons why you would choose a lower ranked player. Maybe it's like the current what do you say, results from the players, like the recent results from the player. It could also be, having the future in mind. Let's say a player is only 20 years old. Then they might look at the potential of that player, and whether that player could do well in 4 years for the next Olympics or whatever.
I think it's a situation where that like would come into play. I don't know what the policy is in Taiwan about who they're picking, but in the men's doubles, the defending Olympic champions, Wang and Li, they are the highest ranked pair from Chinese Taipei, but they've had really bad results for the past 6 months, where this other pair, Li and Yang Po Zhuang, they just won French Open. They made the final of All England, I think, and semi-final again here at the Asian Championships, and they're only a couple of thousand points behind Wang and Li. So like, there's no doubt that right now, if you look at who will have the best chance at the Olympics if they play the Olympics next week, it would be Li and Yang and not Li and Wang. But again, I don't know what the policy is, but it's up to the federation to choose which one of those 2 pairs will end up going. And there is some history from other countries like England. Last time they chose Ben Lane and Sean Wendy above Chris Langridge and Marcus Ellis, even though they were lower ranked. So like it does happen every now and then that a lower ranked pair gets to go. So like even though the qualifying list is out later today, we don't know for sure who's going and who's not.
What do you think about the fact that the federations actually possesses this power to choose?
I hate it.
Me too. I actually hate it. I think it's kind of crazy. I mean, let's take this example from the Danish women's singles right now. If I'm not mistaken, Line Kjærsgaard ended up higher on the ranking than Mia Blichfeld, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So I don't know who they're going to choose. That's also one that's going to be a bit fun to watch for everyone else. But I could see a scenario where they chose Mia because their results are so similar, but Mia is three years younger. So maybe they are thinking she might have a chance of doing better in 4 years for the next Olympic. Maybe they would say that she has more potential for the future. I don't know. But I just feel like it's kind of crazy. I mean, imagine being in the situation that Line is in. She has been working so hard her whole life to try and accomplish this, and she actually also qualified. She is the best from Denmark. But there's just some people sitting in the federation that has the power to say, no, you are not going to I mean, I know that both of them has tattooed the Olympic rings on their body, so it obviously means a lot to them. It is a dream. It's something that they have been working for their whole life. And for other people to possess that power, I mean, just being able to take it away from them, I think that's kind of crazy.
Yeah, but I completely agree. I think it should just be up to the players to decide on court who's the best. And then I know like luck of draw sometimes will be the deciding factor in the end, but I just feel like in badminton, we have a system where you have a full year to qualify. So it's not like in some events in some sports you only get a few selected events where you have to perform. Like here you have a full year, so you get lots of opportunities. And like, of course, some will be a little bit luckier than others, but again, you have a full year to prove that you're the best. So I think you should just let the players decide in court. I think it's the most fair in terms of how to do stuff. So I'm really opposed to federations having that kind of power. I don't understand why it has to be that way. I think it's crazy to think that a world number one is not certain of going to the Olympics. It's like, say that Chen Yufei, if she was ranked world number one, China could still say, well, we're not going to send you. We're going to send He Bingjiao and Han Yu because we feel like they are in better shape right now. I think that's crazy. Like, you have no way of making sure that you're going to qualify no matter how good you are.
No.
It's just insane in my eyes.
And you have experienced it yourself, right? Once you qualified for the European Championships, but you didn't get selected.
Yeah, I was the third highest ranked player in Europe at the time, and obviously also the third highest in Denmark. And we had 4 spots, and I didn't get any of the spots, so that was quite tough. Yeah.
So back then they decided to go with Rasmus Gemke, who was lower ranked, but
they got a wild card. They got a wild card for Jan Jørgensen because he had been out injured, and then you can only get 4 spots. So they had to pick either me or Rasmus for the final one because obviously you and Viktor were also going. And they picked Rasmus, so which actually cost Denmark a medal. Or it had a good chance of doing that because I was going to be seeded top 4. Rasmus didn't. He was seeded 5, so he played Viktor in the quarterfinals. So obviously he couldn't win a medal. We could only win 1 medal. There's no guarantee that I would have won a medal, but at least we would have been split into different quarters, all 4 of us.
No.
It is what it is.
Both of us agree that it's kind of crazy that the federation has that power to decide. And that it's not really into the hands of the players. That's crazy. There's many things that we can. I mean, even the fact that they can actually deny you to enter tournaments. That is, I mean, that is the craziest rule there is in this sport, to be honest.
You have to sign up through your federation, and if they say no, then you cannot really do anything. So and we've seen it in the past that some federations has actually taken advantage of that power. So the Korean federation did it with the Ko and Bike, who wanted to play as independent players, and for 2 years they couldn't, 1 year, half year, something like that, they couldn't play until they actually won a court case against the federation, and then could start playing again. So it's one of the things that was my main goal when I was part of the athletes commission, to change that. I wanted to make sure that players could individually enter tournaments, but it's never really happened. It's quite tough to make that happen, unfortunately.
And it's only like, I don't know, a few years ago, the case with Lizzie Jar, where they also, in the beginning, they banned him for 2 years. Because he went independent, but luckily they sorted it out, and he's now able to participate in tournaments as an independent player. But I mean, they still have the the rules are still the same, so they still have that power if they wanted to use it.
Yeah, for sure.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I would really like to get the audience's feedback on the question of men's single at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
First, who is the best men's single in the world right now?
Besides me.
Besides Hans Christian. And second, who do you see as the Olympic gold medal favorite?
That's interesting.
I would like to get some feedback in the comment section. What people think about it.
I'm pretty sure that the answers are going to be very different now compared to what it would have been if we asked back in December after Viktor won the World Tour Finals and Japan Masters just some weeks before that. So the field is more open now.
But the 4 semifinalists at the World Tour Finals was Viktor, Xiuqi, Christie, and me, and us 4 are now the top 4 in the world.
Yeah.
So maybe the World Tour Finals was a sign of things to come.
Yeah. You also play group stage in the World Tour Finals, like you will do at the Olympics.
Yeah.
Are you willing to say, okay, that's fine, I will just make an Olympic semifinal? If I give you that right here, right now, we shake hands and you get a semifinal.
What will happen in the happen in the bronze match then?
I'll give you the medal.
Okay, so you're asking me if I would sell the Olympics for a bronze medal right now?
Yes.
If I would snap call it?
Yeah.
Definitely not.
Oh, that's a nice answer. That's a nice answer. I was just fearing that you were gonna say yes because it was a medal, but that's a good answer.
No.
Good answer.
Bronze is not really my favorite color, to be honest.
No, true. I understand that.
Well, Hans Christian, thank you for this episode. I hope the audience enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it. I think it was fun talking to you again, Hannes, and looking at your beautiful face. You could have done a little bit with your hair today. I feel like mine is very short. I got a haircut yesterday and it's way too short, but it will grow out again, I hope.
I mean, you look just as you've been looking for the past 100 years.
No. It's much shorter.
Nothing's changed. Well, to everyone watching, thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Badminton Experience. Hope that you enjoyed the episode and that you found it just a tiny bit interesting listening to me and Hans Christian debating or talking about different topics and recent activities in the badminton world.
Yeah.
And please subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, leave a like, and stay tuned for the next episode of the Badminton Experience.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.